Welcome back, everybody. We are continuing on with taking a look at my world show patterns and how that all went for Huck and I while we were in Guthrie, Oklahoma. Today we're looking at the ranch riding pattern, which was actually a really fun pattern. I was really excited to do it when they were doing the ride through the night before the show started, where you could ask judges questions about how the pattern was supposed to go and all of that good stuff. I was getting pumped with my strategy and how to go through this, and then everything fell apart. So it'll be a good time to talk about how do you keep your mental composure when your horse is not cooperating with you or is distracted. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I had to just laugh my way through it so I didn't cry. Looking here at this pattern, it starts out going down a hill, then we have some logs we have to cross, some serpentines, lead changes, some cute little changes in the tree, and then you trot off up this ledge, and it was actually going to be a really fun pattern, and I was super excited about it. So we're going to do this blind react again. There were a couple of different ways that you could approach this hill. Some people came in at an angle. I decided to come straight on because Huck has always been very careful about watching his feet, not breaking into a lope and rushing down hills. I thought that looked like a more difficult thing to do, to go straight down and keep your horse at a walk, and he delivered on that one. I was pretty happy with it. Then the rest of it gets goofy. So coming up to the logs here, you're supposed to extend the walk, and Huck is really good at breaking gait when you try to extend any walk or any gait, and so he did okay there. I was pleased with that. It's just a simple stop and back. I was worried about him turning like he did, and then he slipped in the grass. Then mentally recover from that, ask for a trot. And old Huck decided to give me a lope instead, so we tried to correct that, but you can see from this still video it wasn't very pretty. Then we finally kind of get our legs under us, start trotting. He kind of forgot how to steer. I don't know what was going on, but this whole section here I was fighting him the whole time. He took the wrong lead at first, which was hard for me to comprehend him doing, because he's always been very solid about his leads. We were extending the lope here, which he finally started getting into his groove right about on that extension. Come through the trees for a little lead change, which he did okay with. We did a simple lead change because he stumbled on the roots when we were going through the trees. Now back around the trees, and he's doing just fine. He's nice and relaxed. And then go in for a stop here, and he was trying to figure out which tree he was supposed to weave through, and I just wanted him to go straight. So again, another frustrating part of this pattern, that anytime we practice it was not a problem until we decide to show. And then go for a little walk to a stop. Then you spin either direction. No, you pick one direction and you spin that way. I picked the side that we had been getting the most, like the best spins on. And I mean, he was pretty stuck back. He kind of stepped out of it, but leaving on the trail out, it was a beautiful trot extension up that hill, and I could not be happier with that part of it. So I think the biggest takeaway I had from this particular pattern was to, take everything in stride, because I felt like every other maneuver we did, it was like, oh, this one was great, and then, oh, this one was completely wrong. And then having to like regain your composure and take it literally one stride at a time and one maneuver at a time, so that you don't keep tallying up the bad things as you're going through your pattern. So by the time that you get to the end of the pattern, you're like, God, I just messed up half that pattern. And then at that point, if you're on your last maneuver, that it's like your last maneuver is going to be trash anyways. So yeah, keeping in mind, like, ride your horse one maneuver at a time. You always have to think ahead a little bit, so that you don't forget what's coming next in your pattern. But as you're executing the maneuver, ride that maneuver that you're in, and then clean slate every time you go into the next one, so that your emotions are not getting the best of you and you can make the best out of each individual maneuver. Because then when you go through the scorecard, I mean, if you're not in the penalty box on your maneuvers, I mean, if you zero every maneuver and you're not getting penalties, that's a pretty competitive score most of the time. So that's why it's really important. Maybe you minus half one maneuver that you're riding. If you let your emotions carry into the next one and affect the way that you ride that next maneuver, like, then the rest of it is going to be minus halves or minus a point or whatever. So you literally, each time you start a maneuver, need to reset your brain and ride that particular maneuver. And that was what I had to do. Even if it was like, if I was wearing a mic while I was riding this pattern, you would have heard me cuss under my breath, giggle, and then be serious heading into the next maneuver. And that's just how it goes sometimes, especially when you're riding young horses or not seasoned horses, even if they're not young. But if they're like got a late start or they haven't been shown much and all of those things, those are just, I mean, that's part of getting them broke, is those early shows. There's going to be a lot of cussing under your breath and just laughing it off because they don't know what's being they don't know what's expected. They're trying to figure things out too. They're trying to figure out your emotions and how your emotions come through your riding, all of that stuff. And it's all new to them. And they didn't get to read the pattern and memorize the pattern. So they're going into it blind. So just a few tips on if you have a pattern that is a doozy, to say the least. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back with more patterns from World Show and how they went. And stay tuned, because we've been getting a few views on this particular kind of video format. So I thought it would be fun to do like my first show experience. And this weekend I'm heading into, on Huck at least, my first show experience with Huck. And then this weekend we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of that show. Spoiler alert, I got dumped at that show. So we've got a vendetta this weekend. So I'll put up the comparing videos. I'll probably do them as separate videos, but I'll have one as here was the first show and here's how he's doing a year later at this show. So stay tuned for those, because those will be a lot of fun. If you liked this video, found it helpful or entertaining, please give me a like, because then that means other people will be able to find it and they can share the laughs as well and get some encouragement for tough riding patterns. And also, if you like this kind of information, then subscribe to the channel so that you know when those 2 new videos are coming out. And we will see you on the next one.